Joining me now, retired U.S. Army Colonel and Medal of Honor recipient Jack Jacobs. Always great to see you, my friend. We were talking to Peter Baker of the New York Times, and he said he doesn't think really that they would seriously consider, for example, reinstituting the draft. But leaving these options open, the way Caroline Leavitt puts it, do you think it's because they don't ever actually know what this president is going to do, or he just wants to use that as kind of a form of threat? What do you see it as?
Well, probably a little bit of both. Don't forget, this is a president who says first and thinks later. So it's sometimes difficult to tell what he actually has in his mind. He forgets that he himself was a draft dodger, so it's difficult to envision how there's going to be any interest, even at the White House, for reinstituting the draft.
But what about boots on the ground? Under what circumstances could you see?
Well, two come immediately to mind. The first thing is that most people, when they think about boots on the ground, they're thinking about large-scale introduction of troops of the kind that we saw in Iraq, hundreds of thousands of troops. When I got to Vietnam, there were 500,000 troops there. We're not going to do that. And there's a number of reasons why we're not going to do that. You've got a country of 90 million people with an area larger than France, Germany, and Spain combined. You would have an enemy contingent of something like 500,000 or 600,000 Iranian soldiers, and that includes the Republican Guards, plus some militia. It's hard to envision that's actually happening, and to what end? I mean, at the end of the Second World War, we had something like 500,000 troops in Germany. We kept about 80,000 of them in a country that had been roundly defeated and had submitted itself to American control. We're not doing that in Iran. The other possibility is the use of special operations forces in relatively small numbers to conduct small unit attacks and raids to accomplish some tactical objective, and to go in there and then withdraw. That's going to be extremely difficult in a place like Iran, and much more difficult than it was in Venezuela, for example. But I think the president's probably keeping that option open to the extent that there is one or maybe more targets that they'd like to attack, to seize control for a short period of time, or to destroy on the ground small targets inside Iran. I can't see how we're going to do anything more than that.
Well, to your point, in the first regard, which is the strength of the Iranian military, I've seen estimates with militias and everything else, up to 1 million people who would be willing to fight. There's a new interview with the Iranian foreign minister who says his country is preparing to take on the possibility of U.S. ground troops. Here's what he said.
For the time being, we are capable enough. We have very brave soldiers who are waiting for any enemy who enter into our soil to fight with them and to kill them and destroy them.
How much of that is bluster? How much reality?
A little bit of both there, too. I mean, it's sort of whistling in the dark. They're hoping that the United States is not going to descend on them with 1 million troops, which we're not going to do. And so they're saying that, but they also have the capability to defend specific places with large numbers of troops. They do have, we're talking about doing things like arming the Kurds to go after the Republican Guards. The Kurds are very small in number, and it doesn't matter what we give them in the way of armament. They're never going to be as well armed as the Iranian army. So a little bit of bluster and a little bit of whistling in the dark, but I think they have a high degree of confidence. We're not going to descend with a lot of American troops in Iran, and if we do anything, it'll be raids on specific targets to achieve small tactical goals.
Jack Jacobs, always good to see you, Colonel.
Good to see you, too.
Thank you.